doing pretty good, but I mean, you look across the state, the number of, Marr County had the one teenage boy shoot the other teenage boy in the face accidentally, killed him. We had the Gallatin County detention officer in Broadwater County hunting and managed to discharge a firearm into himself while putting it into a side-by-side. And I mean, and then there's dead people everywhere. Sanders County found a camper that was dead. But Flathead County just passed, their taxpayers up there passed $105 million mill levy for a new jail.
They got money.
What?
They got money. They got a budget.
$105 million.
I think they just got to, well, it must
Who,
be.
who passed that?
I think
Flathead
they
County.
just built.
Well, yeah.
They
Yeah,
got
but
money.
they're growing leaps and bounds.
Oh yeah,
And they're all rich.
and they're really rich.
Rich.
Yeah, they're super rich.
Macon, I was talking to them at Macon, they said our jail was built in '78 and we need to replace it. I said, you know when our jail was built?
Yeah,
And we like it.
yeah. Well,
What, 1911, I think I told him?
1911, May the 6th. We know that we were holding people in May the 6th of 1911.
Yeah, I said
It's
some
the
of
year
them are
we
still
became a
there.
county.
Yeah, yeah.
I said some of the original detainees are still there.
So, yeah. So that's crazy that
He said that
105.
jail in 1978 cost $180 million. Do you believe that?
No,
I must have misunderstood. Maybe it was 80 million.
it wouldn't have even been 80 million.
You've seen it, huh?
Well, no, I just know that's just that
Just ridiculous.
that would in 1978. Do you know what the inflationary dollars would be? That'd be like $1 billion now. What's the
They're
inflation?
a different world, though, I'll tell you that, because I said, how many people do you have on your road crew? He said 70.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
We got 9.
yeah. And I bet I would be almost willing to bet we have more miles of county road than they do,
Possibly.
I'm sure.
because much of Flathead County,
It's paid.
well, it's not just paved, but it's a bunch of damn mountains. So
That's right.
you don't build roads in the middle of the mountains, so unless it's a logging road, and you don't maintain logging roads. So, but no, that's wow, 70. But they have a huge jail, a huge detention staff. They have everything. So, but yeah, so no, it's just been pretty good right now. Just smooth sailing. So I don't. Do you have anything for me?
I can't think of
I got it.
I think we do.
Good card for you.
Oh, for Mr. Bedner.
For Mr. Bednar.
Mr. Bedner. Yep. Yeah. He has a great birthday. November 10th, the Marine Corps birthday.
Oh, well. I should have known that.
So, anything at all? No complaints, no nothing?
it. No complaints.
No, I can't.
Maybe a heads up, I think we're gonna have a 911 committee meeting here. Mike Bedner's on that. But, you know, they've been screwing around with this, what to do with the dispatch. And we're gonna try and bring that to a head. They keep trying to make it up to us, and it's like, you know, we need a path forward. So the thinking is, the last thoughts were, is probably the most, it's not practical to try and maintain that visual by moving the dispatch into the old ambulance barn. It may be more practical to modify the sheriff's office and move the deputies or the sheriff into the ambulance barn. And we're just gonna tell them that's what we want them to do.
Because I've given that decision. Mako was like, oh my God, no, you can't do that. It is very clear what the rules are, and there must be somebody in that building 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And Justin's gonna be the chair, and Cheryl in the future, they're gonna recommend. Cheryl in the future, schedule a meeting, set the agenda, get the minutes, and she'd be the one that.
Well, and the problem
Well, that's,
The problem with that whole situation is who's got the purse strings on, who's managing that budget? I know who's managing that budget, and there's no say from the chairperson, the department head of the communications center on that budget.
no, that's gonna change.
Yeah, well, it needs to.
That's why she's the department head now.
Right.
She's the one
Yeah,
that does it.
100%, so, and it just wasn't a battle that I was willing to engage in.
But just think how long that's been in limbo.
Right?
So I think, I just wanted to give you a heads up. I know Bedner's the guy on the board, but I think he's on board with it, Justin's on board.
And
I can't, it's
if
actually
you,
coming up at the next LEPC,
Well-
is after the next LEPC.
so in my opinion, there needs to be a split. It needs to be separated and not as one department anymore. It needs to be two departments. And what it would be is, the communications personnel side of the department would have a budget for the pay of the personnel, the training of the personnel, paper clips for the personnel, and pens for the personnel.
Okay,
The other side of it, the other side of that budget would be technology side of it.
very good.
Computers, radios, whatever the hell it is, and they are separate entities. Ron can knock himself out with all the technology he wants, but while they're combined, it, Cheryl's not gonna get anywhere, just like I didn't get anywhere with Ron. And so, it needs to be separated into,
I think that's true.
and.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that Ron's in charge of the technical side either.
Well,
That's a different deal.
whoever does, whatever, but it needs to be separated. It absolutely needs to be a personnel,
Because the technical advancements have not been forthcoming either.
well, they're sitting in the ambulance barn.
Yeah, that's my point. So,
And they've been sitting in the ambulance barn for years. So, again, it is what it is. I have many frustrations in that area, but that's the separation that needs to happen. Technical money side, and of course Ron's gonna scream, oh, it's 911 money and you can't separate it and so on and so forth. And he'll give you 15 different reasons why it can't happen, but,
well, my understanding of the money that they get in grants is primary for technology. It's not for staff.
well, and the 911 money, I don't know exactly how that comes in or how it's allocated, but again, it just needs to be
Well,
separated.
that's what
And-
demanded there be a committee, is
Right.
one of
Well,
them.
the other problem that I see with it, and this is my opinion, and this is, we don't have a committee for the sheriff's office for the sheriff. Needs to be one person in charge of that department. And it's not a one person in charge of it.
Of what,
The communication center.
in the
It
communication.
doesn't, we don't need to have 15 different entities with their finger in it. One person making good decisions who's providing a good service to the county. Now, if the fire department's not happy with the service being provided to them, they complain to you, you talk to the the department head and say, fix it.
Yeah.
Or we'll find another department head. And that's, again, that's my own opinion, but
Okay.
this whole committee thing, too many chefs in the kitchen. Is it good to have a lot of chefs in the kitchen? Soup never turns out very good. That's just my opinion on it, but that's
Good feedback.
where I'm at. So, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate everything you guys do. I really do. I know your position is not a fun position to be in. Nobody's happy with you. The only people mad at me are the people I'm writing tickets to. Everybody, like you guys.
That's right.
We'll see y'all later.
All right,
I think this was turned off.
Good.
during that whole thing.
No, it was turned, I think when Gary Lynn came in, she turned it off.
Oh, we thought she was turning it on. for. Well, there you are.
Morning.
Been a long time.
Yeah, a few hours.
Well, something like that. I think it was more. Just seemed like it was only 2 hours.
Right.
Oh, so you got the title.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah.
So you got it.
Got it. Yep. So hopefully be in service the next couple weeks
Yeah,
once we get those bushings replaced and
seat replaced.
seat replaced. That one's not essential. That's a
No,
nicety.
you don't have to ride it very far.
Exactly.
Not like you're coming from Arkansas.
that's funny.
That's right. Well played. You're witty today. I like it.
Well, I would count your
But
weight.
it was really pretty funny. I
Keep your
call
weight.
it.
He's a learner.
No.
I would riding on a piece of
Yeah.
No.
a buckboard.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Hello.
Well,
Good morning.
good morning.
What's up?
No, not a whole lot. We didn't do anything this week.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, what's new?
Yeah, exactly.
Haven't been given a lot, haven't been given a lot of gold stars lately.
No gold stars. But no, seriously, so we had our 911 communication meeting on Tuesday.
Told everybody I was going to.
So we kind of have a punch list of things that need to be completed before the next meeting on the 25th. So,
Okay, I just kind of gave
On my page.
heads up on the 911 is we're gonna talk about the direction, we're gonna give direction on what to do with that. It's basically gonna be modify the sheriff to take on an additional dispatcher so they can get their, and then move the deputies and the sheriff into the ambulance barn. And we're through now with what are we gonna do? What's the plan? And then
Does
we're
Ron
looking
do
at
that?
Cheryl.
that was what we talked about with the deal.
Ron was there?
He was there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, and Ron is scheduled to be in today, correct?
Yeah,
He's scheduled every week.
So that was on his punch list that he was to come in and get the direction, so.
well, and then the other thing is that you were gonna chair, and that Cheryl would be the one to schedule and manage the meetings.
Mhm.
It's basically a dispatch department
Mhm.
meeting. But Sean thinks there should be a separation between the personnel and technology. And maybe that's something the committee can discuss. Have a separate budget for the technology,
That I'm up and moving
and then
everything.
have, training and whatnot for the.
And in a way, there currently is, it just needs to be either written out to be defined.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah.
I would.
Because right now, that's what the PSAP position is supposed to be, the public service answering point. They should be in charge of like the equipment, and then, obviously.
Well, that's why that whole committee was
Was
formed,
formed,
right?
yep.
So that you can get the grant money and
Yep,
show that you're spending it right and
Yep.
all that good stuff.
yep. So,
But I thought that grant money was more geared toward technology than it was staffing.
yes, our grant money that, or at least like the Homeland Security one that we put in for, I can't think of what the one that Ron actually puts in for yearly that we get. Yes, yeah, that's for technology and equipment, so.
But I still think that, the committee approach was like there was too many chefs or whatever, but I still think the committee approach to make sure that the sheriff, sheriff, the main ones, the ambulance, sheriff, and fire, then plus the road and the other, are fairly represented. They have
Correct.
input.
Because that was something that I had to fill out for our NERIS upgrade, so we're now reporting to the National Emergency Reporting Incident System. When I had to go in and fill out our profile, and it flat out, there's a big section in there with dispatch, and our dispatch is a multi-resource dispatch, so that we're not a single point, so everybody has to make sure that they're getting
Okay.
what they need. And so, and then, kinda like I said, Ron is meeting with Cheryl, it's either Monday or Tuesday this week. They're gonna sit down and go over a bunch of training, issues and go through a bunch of stuff,
Okay,
cause again, and I'm sure Cheryl thinks I'm, nitpicking in that, but, I log all the calls that we get, how they're dispatched, and we're getting issues where dispatchers are sending us to wildland fires. We're getting their fine, but they're not paging it correctly. They're paging it under a different code, and we have 4 codes set up, and they're already pre-populated. So, like if it's a structure fire, you hit structure fire, and it sends law enforcement, fire, EMS.
gotcha.
But they're paging things out under the other code, and then they have to individually page the ambulance again, and then they have to individually page, so it's a training issue. And then we have one dispatcher, again, this is through grapevine of somebody who was in the office and heard it, so they paged us to a location using GPS coordinates, which is fine, other than the fact that they have the ability to look at the screen and shows the dispatch coordinates at an address as opposed to a GPS. So then when the fire got on there, it's like, hey, we don't have access to a GPS unit, where is this?
Gotcha.
It's not my job to tell you.
Excuse me?
That's exactly what your job is.
So,
Amen.
Oh, boy.
Well, see, you need.
but that's
need
just a
that
training,
feedback.
yeah,
It's sort of a training feedback loop, but everybody's gotta be represented.
Yep.
You can't get funneled through one person that's that, it's not.
yep. Yep, and, and those are, in a way, it's a small thing, but those small things lead to big things.
Well, I think that's a big thing. And if you're not told, and there's no you
Yep.
don't know,
Yep.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
You can quote me on that.
And then I
It's
had
dark
a,
at night too.
I had a meeting with a couple of dispatchers, cause they were wanting to know why they have to repeat back to the fire department. And so I explained to them that, it's part of the NIMS requirement, it's actual standard communication practice of the closed loop communication. And they're like, well, we're really good at our job, why do we need to do them? And so I did the political, and it's like, well, it's a blanket policy, so everybody has to follow the policy. And we're not picking on certain people. And then the best part is that now that dispatcher started repeating back, we've caught a couple times where they didn't hear us right. And so that's the whole point. So it's working. And it's just a slow change in, I call it the culture. So-
Yeah. Well, it's a culture that hasn't been hearing the concerns of all the other recipients
Yes.
in dispatch that we need.
Yep.
So that's excellent.
Yep, so they're baby steps forward, but it is.
So when is the
forward.
next LEP season?
Next,
25th.
yep,
Next Wednesday?
no, it'll be the last Tuesday of the month.
Yeah,
25th?
Yep,
yep, and then so right after that
Here's the
meeting,
911,
Yeah.
actually, have one, that's excellent.
yep. Yeah, we did that, so then that way everybody could just stay and we can be done with it.
Well, and I'm giving you a heads up, because those are the kind of the big picture issues that right off the bat,
Yep.
just what we're gonna wanna do and all that good stuff.
Yep.
What else we got?
So that meeting went good, had fire council last night.
Mike said it didn't last long enough.
No, we could have drug it out if,
That's what he would prefer.
The illness would stay.
Yeah.
that way you can get a really good nap going. Main thing that came out of that, we'll need to sit down with Justina, and do some JVs and
Isn't
stuff.
that the 15 grand deal?
Well, there's the 15 grand, also, the funds hadn't been transferred over from when we did the dirt work last fiscal year into the Millstone. Well, it's still showing that they're $20,000 in the hole in their cash.
No, that was one of the journal, that was
So-
one of the things that got,
Yep.
it was, I can't remember, how much was it, 13 grand? or something?
17.
17,000?
Yep.
I can at least show you what I told them.
Yep. So it's just stuff like that. We know it's been done. We just got to track exactly what
Alright.
we made. So, then like with Bull Mountain,
And they're not 20 grand, I mean, and that's the
that's
expense.
their cash.
Yeah, their cash is negative, but
Yep.
is it negative because of that 17 not being?
I
I mean, that's what we,
That's why
I'm
we
pretty
got-
sure, because we went through the end of the year adjustments, and that's one of them that we'll look into
Yep.
that. But as we go through that, you'll see, did it
Well,
happen or did it?
And see, and that's just it, is, again, we always talk about our access as department heads is very limited on what we can see and what
Well, you
reports
should
we
have view rights.
You would think, but
Well, honestly, bring that up too, because
Yep.
Cheryl, I can see anything, I just can't write anything. I told him I don't want to be able to write.
yeah, there's certain things that when we go to select
Well, we
reports that
can't
are
see
grayed
personnel
out.
stuff. I mean, I can't see payroll stuff.
Yep.
Apparently that's none of my business.
You know, and like we said at the beginning of the budget year, where when I go in and look at the reports for like when we're setting up the budgets, everything shows zeros on me, cause I don't have the column authorized that I can see the preliminary column.
Mhm.
You know, it's just things that are limited on our side that we can see. So, and I know it's all there, and like we talked about at council, yes.
Well, in theory, if we transferred the 15 grand that we needed to give them,
Mhm.
you know, for their budget, and we transferred the 17, they shouldn't be in the red.
Correct.
So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
There, I will acknowledge they were doing it. It means that if it wasn't done, it means it's sitting in the general fund or something, so.
And the thing is too is, I guess this is me, I'm not meaning to sound flippant, but, you know, between the beginning of the year and the end of the year, as long as at the end of the year it's all right, I don't care what happens in the middle. I hate to be that way.
No,
As
no.
long as I'm following my appropriations that I know I've been authorized to spend, because, you know, we know that looking at incoming revenue and what we have currently in cash and that, you guys wouldn't authorize us to spend money if you knew we weren't gonna have the money. So at the end, it's
Yeah,
accounting.
you gotta trust us.
I do.
Well,
That's a quarter gold
Fair
star
enough.
for trust.
honestly, I knew that they didn't get the 15 grand, and they didn't appropriate for it either. And you told me that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I told them to do. But okay, we can fix that. I thought the money was transferred.
Yeah.
Not the 15, but I thought the 7, because they needed to do two things. They needed to appropriate for 15 grand for each one of the department, and they needed to take money out of 2340 and move it into the.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it's all correctable, it's.
And you're not sounding flippant, but if it, you know, honestly, I thought we started the year off perfect, you know, because honestly, I can show you what I told them we needed to do that. But I'm pretty sure, and Darcy was involved, and they were back checking all these journal entries between the two of them. I'm curious why the 17 slipped out, because I even showed them the invoice.
And, you know, and the way I look at it too is, because I've seen 3 of them, you know, the first 2 years of the CFO job, even 3 years, there's a lot to learn when you're doing government accounting.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
No doubt.
I've been doing this crap for 30 years, and I'm like, Jesus, and, you know.
yep. So it is definitely not a like, oh, just you did that,
Especially
or
as
you guys-
screwed up as it was, to be honest.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, but she's really good,
Mhm.
that we know now what the fix is, but we know you're spending, you know, we know what you're doing. I guess maybe the good news is the communications there. We knew you wanted to do that.
Yep.
We also knew that we committed to paying for that dirt work. And, so it'll happen if it
Yeah.
hasn't.
And then speaking of communications and that, so I failed in some communications.
What?
I did,
You
100%.
lose a star?
I'll lose a star. So remember how we talked about that other purchasing services line item? and that we use that as kind of an incentive for departments to not necessarily spend all their budget. Then they have, you know, some extra purchasing that they can do for stuff that's not locked by capital improvement requirements. Well, when I created the tracker and all that stuff, I screwed up and didn't tell Darren, hey, make sure that everything that I say for this comes out of 2340. And so he's been taking them out of each department's other purchasing services. So,
Darren, you imbecile.
That's what I said.
so we just gotta do just a quick
All right,
JV
and
on
that basically, you can say, hey, this expense showed up here, it should.
Should have been here, yeah. And that was me not telling Darren, hey, you know.
Or you could move the money.
Because what I would do is I would tell Darren, it's like, hey, Dean Creek is going to use their other purchasing services from the spreadsheet, you know, to buy 5 pairs of pants. And then, so that was on me.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Mike rejected a claim on pants here.
Yeah,
Just recently.
yeah.
Oh, good.
It's in the wrong size.
Too big?
That was for the sheriff.
Oh,
I looked at it, I thought, I wonder if they're for Sean, but for 32, 35. Nah.
35s, holy cow. Those are some long legs.
Yeah, I had some small waist, so it wasn't Sean.
Well, it's
well, you
So
know,
I okayed it.
Trevor's a long legged dude.
It was
yeah.
only $60, so.
Well, we got 2 Dean Creek firefighters that I am having the hardest time finding them pants because they're 38 inseams. And the,
38 long?
uh-huh. And so the biggest I can find is 36s
They're not
without,
shorts.
you know, they're kind of like capris on them.
Capri.
Joggers.
Might be fashionable, and then give them a shorter one and say, hey, where's the flood?
Let's see here, what else? BLM side of things, they couldn't come up to the meeting, but they sent us an email with the government shutdown. They say as of right now, all their summer help is gone, but they do have a staffed engine. So if we need assistance from BLM, and come January, they will no longer be the BLM wildfire resource. They're gonna be the US Fire Administration resource. Because they're combining BLM, Forest Service, BIA, US Fish Wildlife Service, every federal agency that has a fire department is now going to be combined into one department.
One unit, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, the only issue, potential issue, is currently there's 8 regions. They're thinking about cutting them down to 3 regions. So we're gonna probably assume, you know, all of North Dakota, all of South Dakota, Wyoming, potentially Oregon. And so it creates a little bit of a logistical nightmare.
Okay, that sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, and it sounds to me like it might create a greater competition for services. In other words, now we don't have as big a voice because they don't have the resources, because they're trying to deal with the raw.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think there's gonna be some good things, there's gonna be some headaches like this, it'll get ironed out eventually, but thankfully for us as Muscle Shoals County, it really doesn't affect a whole lot of us, because we take care of all the fires in the county. You know, we got a lot of BLM ground, but
Pretty independent.
yeah, we're pretty independent, so self-sustaining.
Yeah, that letter from the BLM came from Fort Lauderdale, didn't it?
One of them did.
They're probably on vacation.
Furloughed, as they say.
Furloughed, yeah.
Otherwise, anything else office related before we go to the next? Okay,
What about the busy bee? How
Oh,
do people look
Yeah,
at that?
busy bee.
there we go. Thank you.
So I finally got in touch with Roger from Tetra Tech.
Okay,
There is 0 asbestos.
okay.
So we are good there.
So they need some?
I hope not.
Transfer it from the Weir building?
Yeah.
Asbestos plant,
So
assaulting the mine.
Put on the White House.
I thought he was going to send me a report, that way I could send that